Okay, Miss Anna. It looks like we are live streaming.
All right, you're set up then.
All right, thank you, Miss Anna.
Sure. Bye.
Bye.
Good morning, Ms. Hurst. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good morning. Happy New
Hi.
Year, Mr. Marks.
Hey, Happy New Year. Good morning, Major Buchanan. Happy New Year.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Hello. Have either of you attempted to go into the Dropbox to see if you can access the documents?
Ms. Hurst, yes, I did that this morning and I cannot. The link that
Under the new link?
Well, the new link, the one that Anna sent out just as a request, and it's a way to upload, and it didn't take me to the Dropbox itself. And so I was frustrated.
Okay, because the one that I sent out, when Anna told me that the others weren't working, was it wasn't a transfer request, it was a share link. So I was hoping that that would have gotten you to the documents, but no. Do you have Dropbox, Mr. Marks? Or are you just trying to access through the link?
You know, I was trying to access through the link. I've had it in the past, and they send me emails every few months telling me that I need to buy capacity or something. So I haven't been using it in years. Would you possibly try and send a new link out in the next 2 minutes before we start? And
Can you hear me, Your Honor? This is Mark Walker.
Hi, Mr. Walker. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I am trying to set up Mr. Marks, I'm going to have to wait until I'm not trying to control the Zoom meeting to send that to you. I had hoped that the Dropbox share folder that I sent out at the end of last week was going to allow you to get to the documents. But Mr. Marks says that's not what's happening. Has anybody else tried to get to the documents?
Yeah, it's a one-way street. We can put things in the Dropbox, but we can't access what's in the Dropbox.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, because I tried doing it a different way than the file transfer way, just because I was in a hurry, and obviously that didn't work. I thought it had to do with editing privileges, and it didn't. So that will be remedied after the pre-hearing is taken care of, and you all can let me know via email if that has not worked. Don't need to let me know if it has worked, just if it has not worked. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I don't believe we are anticipating anyone else. And the Magic State phone says it's 9:32, so I guess we should go ahead. Let me just remind you, we are on YouTube. So I think I've got everybody noted. Excellent. Good morning. Happy New Year. Yay.
Happy New Year.
Hello there, hearing examiner Alan. How are you?
Good morning. I am good. Thank you very much.
Very well. As you heard, we're having some trouble with Dropbox that we need to get straightened out today. So I have reviewed all of the pre-hearing memos that the party submitted. Do we have anything in addition or that has changed since last week when these were filed?
Madam
No.
Hearing Examiner,
Ms. Drake.
I just wanted to clarify, since LES and FEA are sharing a witness, Mr. Gorman, I did want to explain whenever it's appropriate time how we plan to split that up.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I will, as LES's counsel, I will present Mr. Gorman and proffer his testimony, his exhibit as an exhibit, as evidence, and I will conduct any redirect for just to make it easier to make it clear. But I think both LES and FEA would reserve the right to do their own cross-exam of witnesses, of other witnesses, I should say.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're not going to try, you're sharing the witness, but only one attorney will conduct the proffering of testimony in the defense of that witness.
Exactly. And
okay.
we will try not to overburden you or the rest of the parties with duplicate or excessive cross-exam of Mr. Luth. We'll try to divvy that up as well.
Okay. All right. Any, I don't have a problem with that. Mr. Marks?
Ms. Hurst, just to clarify, I didn't realize, but just to clarify, both Solar, REIA, and RIA are sharing a witness, but we're also putting on a consolidated case. So Ms. Lynch and I will not both examine other parties' witnesses. It'll either be one or the other of us, in case
Okay.
anybody was wondering. So we're not doing it the same as FEA LES.
And are you presenting Mr. Gilliam, Mr. Marks?
I am.
Okay. I note that in reviewing the pre-hearing memos, that I don't believe any of the other parties have reserved any time for any examination of Mr. Gilliam. Is that what you noticed also, Mr. Marks?
Yes, Your Honor. They several of them said they had no questions except if the hearing examiner was to ask them questions, they wanted follow-up. So I think it would, if Your Honor doesn't have questions, we could possibly excuse him.
I just have a couple. I have not conferred with hearing examiner Allen on that point, but I cannot imagine that Mr. Gilliam would be needed for a very long time. Mr. Marks, sir.
That sounds good, because I said, even if we excuse him, I wanted him to monitor the hearing, so he'll be available tomorrow. And I'll let him know that Your Honor will have a few questions for him, and possibly Ms. Anaya Allen.
Very well, and just in case, Mr. Marks, is he also available Thursday morning?
Yes. He would
Okay.
prefer not to be available Friday, but doesn't look like we're going to get that far into the week.
Well, based upon my review of the proposed examination times, I believe for 5 of the 6 witnesses, the parties have requested approximately 7 hours. So depending on how that would go, I'm envisioning that we're not going to take all 3 days. I'm thinking 2 days, perhaps a day and a half, she said optimistically, but we'll see. Okay. We did go a little longer when we met a few weeks ago. I think than I anticipated in a different case. But we'll see in the new year how our times are. Okay. And while I'm on that point, the order, I believe, is Mr. Luth, Mr. Higgins, Mr. Gorman, Mr. Pollack, Mr. Gilliam, and Ms. Ramey. Has anybody got any witness that's going to have an issue being available the next Wednesday and Thursday? Okay, not hearing that there is, so very well. I note also that upon review of the pre-hearing memos, no one is going to be offering any confidential information or any questions on any confidential information. Does that correct me if I'm missed something? Not hearing anything. Okay. We're supposed to begin at 9 tomorrow. I'd like to have everybody available at 10 of, just in case something has come up or we need to discuss something. Additionally, as per usual, we'll take a 10-minute break or so in the morning, an hour for lunch, and another 10-minute break or so in the afternoon. Depending on how close we are to 5, if it looks like we're not going to get finished, then we will recess and start again tomorrow morning. Just like this pre-hearing, we will be on YouTube, so your witnesses may view, witnesses and or staff may view from YouTube until it's time for that witness to testify, and then we'll send them the link. Additionally, I think no, I don't think I explained that. I explained that last week, I guess, in the rate case pre-hearing. Upon discussion with the other hearing examiners, I just want to make the parties aware that I do expect all of the commission's in-person hearing requirements to be complied with, including not just for the attorneys, but also the witnesses. So, for example, chewing gum while testifying is not appropriate, and would appreciate that not happen. Additionally, since parties in the pre-hearing Zoom protocol order were advised, you're going to need to make sure that your clients are set up with Zoom and that it works. And additionally, both the witness and the attorneys will be expected to be present, not only with audio, but video throughout the proceeding, unless you need to be excused for some reason. And then obviously we could deal with that if you have to be away. So, do we have any other procedural matter that we need to deal with?
Hearing Examiner Hurst. Nick Stockel
Yes,
here.
sir. Mr. Stockel, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I was just reviewing SPS's pre-hearing memo and noted that OPL was not listed under their cross-examination, either with a time or waiving their time. I'm sure Mr. McMillan would appreciate knowing whether the cross is coming or not. So I guess really a question for Mr. Walker about whether he intends to cross-examine Mr. Pollock.
Oh,
Right, and
Aye.
he has a question mark here
Okay, so
in
you picked it
my
up too.
SPS block. Mr. Walker?
yeah, that's right, Your Honor. I do not have any cross for Mr. Pollock unless, of course, something comes up in the course of other cross-examination or redirect. I think that was why I left him off. So apologies there. But unless there's some follow-up, I did not have anything for Mr. Pollock.
All right. All right,
Matthew?
well, Ms. Drake,
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to confirm that the order of cross-exam for the parties who are doing cross-exam, is that going to follow the order we've done in the past, which is the order of motions to intervene, or do you want a different order on that, or what?
yeah, did anybody have an objection to the proposed order of cross-examination that was put forth in SPS's section 5 on page 4, which basically has the large carrier group, FEA, LES, OPL, Volt Solar, REA, CCAE, and staff. And then, of course, SPS would start out for the other party's witnesses, followed by the same order. Any objection to that?
Your
No,
Honor.
that's fine.
Oh, Your Honor, this is Major Buchanan. I just wanted to
Here you are.
request, since it does list FEA-LES for cross, would it be okay for FEA to do cross and then followed by LES?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Right, and I just remind the parties that while we're all professionals and there is a diversity of opinion in this case as to what the appropriate standby rate and components should be. I would just remind the parties to make sure that any of the cross-examination questions that they're asking fall within the purview of appropriate cross-examination. Same for redirect. And I think the parties have been very thorough with their pre-hearing memos. I did want to ask staff Mr. Bagacco, in the staff exhibit, proposed exhibit list, you have proposed to offer some responses to staff discovery. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And post staff exhibit 1 is the staff's first set of discovery to SPS, and that includes 10 questions and responses. Is it staff's intention that you're going to introduce all 10 or just part?
We were just going to focus on certain of those, but we provided the complete document.
Okay, if you're just going to introduce part, I only want the part that you're going to introduce. So, I would ask you to revise, for example, if you looked at Occidental's proposed exhibits, for example, Occidental's proposed exhibit 3 is SPS response to Occidental's second set, question 1. And then their proposed exhibit 4 is the response to OPL's proposed second set, question 13. That way, Mr. Bagatko, we're not going to have potential documents or information in the record that is superfluous to what staff actually wanted the commission to look at. I believe the staff proposed exhibit 3 or 2 is staff's third set of discovery, and in that particular document contains 14 questions and responses, correct?
That's correct.
And similar to staff exhibit 1, was it your intent to just offer part or all?
We were going to focus on certain of those. So if I understand you correctly, I can edit those down to the ones that are within our focus. And then would you like for me to re-upload those to Dropbox?
I would.
Okay.
Now, thank you, sir. That
Welcome.
then relates to large customer proposed exhibit 3, and I'll take that one first.
We have the same issue, so it sounds like you'd like us to narrow that set down and re-upload it with only those we propose to admit at the hearing.
Yes, sir.
Will do.
Yes, sir. And you're going to need to make sure that you have one exhibit number per request or per response
Okay.
or question and answer.
If that ends up creating new NMLCG exhibits, do you want us to file an amended pre-hearing memo?
No.
Or just, okay.
No, just make sure that your numbers are going to be, if it's only going to be 1, then you can keep your 3. But if you're going to have more than 1, then you're going to need to, and you might want to confer with Mr. Bagatko, because really, if staff is going to offer your exhibits, do you need to really offer them also?
Well, one of us will have to go first. I think it's going to be me, but we don't need to put a vote.
Well, that's true. And then that also relates, Mr. Marks, to REIA 3, which was responses to staff first set. And if I would make the same request of you, if you're not going to offer the whole try to get in the whole set. It's only part of them. Then I would like you to break that down into the ones that you plan to offer and number accordingly.
So just to be clear, if I want to use 4 and 5 responses to 1.4 and 1.5, those are going to be 2 separate exhibits now?
Yes, and I would assume it would be 3 and 4 for you.
Okay,
Your 3, 4.
will
Okay.
do.
All right.
Madam
Okay,
Hearing
so
Examiner, if I could ask, if parties are going to be adjusting their exhibit numbers, if they could also upload to the Dropbox a revised exhibit list, so we could keep those straight for each one.
okay, I don't have a problem with that. I wasn't gonna make them go back and do their pre-hearing memo again, but yeah, I mean, that seems like a good way to keep us all updated with any changes. Is yes, I would require that your exhibit list conform to what you have actually placed in the Dropbox as your purported exhibits. I would also like to find out, Mr. Stoffel, if the large customer exhibit 4, are you planning on wanting to ask that administrative notice be taken of that direct testimony? Or are you planning to offer all or part?
So I'll say my initial plan is not to offer it as evidence or to have you take administrative notice of it, but to have it on hand if we need to refresh Mr. Luce's recollection about his prior testimony.
Okay,
But we certainly would object to it coming in either through administrative notice or as the entire thing coming in as an exhibit. But so my going in plan was to avoid any disputes about what it is and only use it if necessary to refresh his recollection.
okay.
Now, if you have a preference, if you'd like that to be available in the record, happy to go down that path too.
At this point, I mean, if it's only a proposed exhibit and hasn't yet been offered or anything established with regard other than the fact that, I mean, we all know it came from a commission case. And if you're going to use it in some other way, at this point, like you say, it's purported. No, I don't have any preference at all. I just thought I would make inquiry about that particular document. And I think that's the only question. I'll get this straightened out with the Dropbox. Let me just say that as we are all learning about using Dropbox, it is my understanding from someone who has more technical expertise than I do on this matter, that sometimes the problem is not with the link. Sometimes the problem is with your browser. So I know that I've had at least one complaint in the past about the inability to print things. I don't think that was a problem with the link. I think that was a problem with the browser and the settings in the browser that that particular person was using that prevented them from actually printing. So I would ask you just to be cognizant of that, of those potential limitations, that, you know, in that case, it was not the fault of Dropbox to not accomplish that. Okay. Do we have anything else procedural that we need to talk about for tomorrow's hearing? Again, if people would just be there at 10 till 9, I can tell you so far, we have not had anyone sign up to give public comment. That could change. That, of course, would occur before the presentation of any evidence. Mr. Walker.
Yes, Your Honor, just a couple things. I listed as an exhibit the original advice notice 303. I thought that'd be appropriate for the record. I thought I would just do that when Mr. Luth is on the stand. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, the advice notice can be admitted. We can, I mean, it's already in the record in your filing. So unless you've changed it,
No.
You know, it's not really necessary.
Okay.
I
think
in my mind, but
Okay.
it's your case, you know,
I
and
understand.
if you want it, you know, if you actually want that document closer to the transcript, then you know, I'll consider that request when you make it.
Okay.
What else?
In other places, that's something that folks like to do, but I agree with you. I don't think it's necessary. And it actually, I think, is an attachment to staff's witness or one of the other witnesses. So if anybody wanted to go look at it, it's there. The other is, should I plan on having Mr. Luth available immediately? I'm assuming so, at the 10 till 10 or 10 till 9. I'm happy to do that. I just want to get him ready, be sure he's in place.
Well, yes, we
Okay.
want him in place to
Right away.
go
Okay.
first. And I don't know. I'm not aware of any outstanding motions
Okay.
that people need to or that need to be ruled upon.
Okay. So we can plan.
So yeah, so no, we're as far as I'm concerned, we're going to be, we'll take any public comment, we'll address any procedural matters. If there are any, and we'll be ready to go with Mr. Luth's testimony from the beginning.
Okay.
So,
Thank
all
you.
right.
Your Honor, to clarify
Thank
one
you.
issue, on the advice notice, a fair amount of my cross will likely deal directly with the text of the advice notice. I assume that's true for
Okay.
other people as well. I just assume that he would have a copy of it and be able to answer questions about it regardless of whether it's entered as an exhibit. Is that correct?
Mr. Walker, I mean, I'm assuming that Mr. Luth doesn't need it, but if it's in the inbox, and I'm more than happy, or in the inbox, if it's in the Dropbox, you know, I'm more than happy to pull it up and you know, based upon what Mr. McMillan is saying, you know, obviously I can pull it up as in from your exhibit, or I can pull it up from the info share. All right, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
That answer your question, Mr. McMillan? we'll have it there and Mr. Luth will be there.
That will work for me.
Okay, very well. Anything from anyone else? Hearing examiner Anaya Allen, any questions or on procedure that you have for the parties?
I do not have any questions at this time, but thank you very much, Hearing Examiner
Okay.
Hurst.
Very well. Okay, so parties, check out your bandwidth for tomorrow, and if we don't have anything further that we need to discuss, again, Happy New Year, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at 10 of 9, and we'll begin our hearing at that point. Hearing examiner Anaya Allen, if you would just stay on the YouTube for me, I got a question for you, please.
Absolutely.
Everyone else, we are recessed until tomorrow morning.